Hi and welcome. This is Mohammed Kubaib. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to discuss about a recently announced public preview feature, which is Azure Virtual Desktop Custom Image Templates. If you like this video, please hit subscribe and hit the bell icon to get the future updates. If you want to learn more about Azure or Citrix or FSlogix technologies, you can check out my bestseller Udemy course, which is also available in Udemy for Business. So by definition, custom image template allows admins to build a custom golden image with the added capability to include Azure Virtual Desktop built-in customization as well as your own customization scripts to install other application or set of configuration. In order to understand this feature, first we need to go back to our image preparation method and we need to understand how we used to create master images in a normal Azure Virtual Desktop environment. For example, if you wanted to deploy a session host or session host pool, maybe containing around 100 or thousands of VMs for your business requirements, first we need to create a virtual machine, which we will refer it as a golden virtual machine or master image. So in this VM, we used to install all the updates related to Windows patch and all the application which business wants and other registry or group policies, etc. So once this is done, so we used to run sysprep, and once sysprep is done, then we used to convert this virtual machine into image. So once this is in an image format, then we can create our host pool, which may be containing around 100 or thousands of virtual machine according to your requirements. So here in this method, for example, let's say if you wanted to configure FSlogix or Teams or any language pack you wanted to install or any other related settings, etc., we either go with the registry or go with the group policy to configure this. So this is a manual method you have to follow every time when you create any new image. So with the introduction of new feature, which is Azure Image Template, you can avoid all those manual tasks. So instead of that, while creating a image, so you will get an option to do all the configuration automatically. For example, if you wanted to do installation of language packs or installing FSlogix or Teams optimization or configuring session timeouts, etc. So everything can be now automated during the image creation itself. So what exactly Azure Image Template do is, so in the background it will take a VM, so and then it will configure everything, so whatever the customization we want, so it will do everything on the behalf of you, and then it will convert this virtual machine into image template post doing the sysprep, etc. So in this method, so you no need to do the customization manually, you no need to do the sysprep, so directly you will get your image either in the managed image portal or you can get it in the shared image gallery, or now it is known as Azure Compute Gallery. So this is the automated way where you can get your master images with all the customization without going through any manual changes, etc. So in order to deploy Azure Virtual Desktop custom image template, we need to have some prerequisites. The first one is managed identity. So managed identity in Azure, it is nothing but a kind of service account, but here we are not assigning anything specific to the user account. Instead of, we will assign it to the service. And then we need to have a custom role. So custom role is nothing but this particular managed identity should have some permission on the Azure resource. For example, let's say get gallery or get gallery image or version. Similarly, get image or create or update image or delete image. So these are the roles it should have, and these are the permissions it should have. For example, read to the gallery or delete to the images, etc. So these are the things we need to define as a custom role, and then we need to assign this role to the managed identity, so that this particular managed identity should have all these permissions to do in the Azure resource. So I'm in the Azure portal now, so let's go and create a managed identity. To create a managed identity, we just need to search over here managed identity. So it will display over here which is managed identity. So let's create. I'm going to click on create. So under subscription, select your subscription, and then resource group. I'm going to select a resource group which is called VDA, because this is the resource group where I'm going to deploy my image or session host pool, etc. And then we need to select the region. So for now I'm going to keep it in central US. And then name, so I'm just going to give a name as AVD managed identity. So I will click on review and create. So the validation is passed, so let's click on create. The deployment is in progress, so it will take a while to create the managed identity. So as you can see, managed identity is completed. So if you go to the resource, so you can see the managed identity. So this is nothing but kind of service account. So we are using this to perform the activity. So now let's go back to our subscription and we will create a custom role with the permission it is required to create the image or customization. So I am heading to my subscription. So under subscription, I will select my subscription and then I will click on IAM, which is Identity and Access Management. So here under add, we need to click on add custom role. So here we need to define the role name. So for this lab, I'm going to define the role as AVD manage identity hyphen role. So let's click on next. So here we need to define the permissions. So click on add permissions. So now we need to define this permission to the custom role. So we need to click on add permissions. So it will now display all the Azure related service over here. So we need to filter, which is Microsoft.compute. Under compute, we need to go to the gallery and image. So as you can say, under Microsoft Compute permissions, we have Microsoft Compute slash gallery images and then versions. So here we need to select get gallery image. This is one of the permissions. So as you can see here, get gallery, and then we need to select get gallery image. So which is get gallery image, this one, and then we need to select read permission to get gallery image versions, and we need to select get gallery. So this will provide the read permission to the gallery and then to the image, and then we'll have a read permission to the gallery image versions, and also we need to have a write permission to the gallery image versions. So this is for the gallery. Similarly for the image also we need to define the permissions. So here we can see get image, create or update image, and delete image. So let's define these permissions. So under Microsoft Compute slash images, we'll have read permission to the get image, write permission to create or update image, and delete. So these are the three permissions we need to define. So if you click add, so we will see the combined permissions we just defined. For example, get to the property of gallery image, or get the property of gallery, or delete the images, etc, etc. Then click next. So here by default, this particular custom role, it is created at the subscription level. So if you don't want at the subscription level, you can define at the resource group level as well. So for example, so under this you can select a resource group, and then you can select your particular resource group on which you wanted to create this particular custom role. So in this example, I will leave it to subscription itself. However, as per your requirement, either you can create at the subscription level or you can define at the resource group level as well. I'll click on next, and here you can see all the permissions which you have defined in the JSON format. Then I'll click on review and create. So as you can see, it is successfully created. Click OK. So now if you go to the roles under the subscription, and if you try to search the role which you just created, so here we can see, so this is the role we just created, which is AVD MI role. So if you click on view, you will see all the permissions which is this particular role is having. So now we have both managed identity as well as we have the custom role. So let's go to the resource group, and we will select the resource group on which we are going to create the images or any customization or our session host pool. So this is my resource group VDI. So here I'm going to assign this managed identity with the custom role which we created. So to do that, we need to go to the access control. So here we need to click on add, and then we need to click on add role assignment. So here we need to select the role which we just created. So this is the role I have created. I'll click next, and under access to, so here we need to select the managed identity. So please note here we are not going to assign to any service account. So instead of that we are going to assign it to the managed identity. So under managed identity we need to select user assigned managed identity, and it will display all the managed identity available. So this is the managed identity I have just created. So click select, click review and assign. So now the role has assigned to this particular managed identity on this particular resource group. So to perform the custom image template, we need to go to the Azure Virtual Desktop blade. So here we need to select the custom image template. So once you are under this blade, so we need to click on add custom image template. So here we can provide the name to our custom image template. So in this example, I'm going to select AVD custom image template demo. So here import from existing template. So there is an option called yes or no. So here we need to select the image template. So in this example, I'm creating from the scratch. So I'll select no because I'm not going to import anything from the existing. So I will create a fresh one. So under subscription, we need to select the subscription resource group, the one which you have assigned managed identity and custom role. That particular resource group we have to select, and location the central US in my example, and managed identity which we have just created, which is avd-mi. Once you fill all these details, click on next. So here it will ask for the image source. So we have two options over here: platform image, managed image, or shared image. So I'm selecting my image from the Azure marketplace. So if you have it in the managed image you can select, or shared image gallery you can select accordingly. So under platform image or marketplace, I'm going to choose my image, which is Windows 10 Enterprise Multi-Session version 22 H2 generation. So once you selected the image, click next. So this is very important. So here you have two options: managed image and Azure Compute Gallery. The meaning of this is once your image along with the customization is completed, where you want the image, either in the managed image or in the Azure Compute Gallery. So in this example, I'm going to keep it under managed image only. So I'm not going to use Azure Compute Gallery. However, if you have the requirement to place the image in Compute Gallery, you can select this option and you can fill all the details which is displayed over here. So in this demo, since I selected managed image, so I'm going to create a new managed image over here. I'll just give a name which is demo image, custom image template. So this is the name I have to give for the managed image, and then the location, which is my location, which is central US, and output name. So you can give any name. So I'm going to give a name as demo image only. I'll click next. So here you need to fill some of the information. So build time mode, this is not mandatory, so you can keep it as it is, which is default 240. And build VM size, so this is a VM size it will choose in the backend to create the image, etc. So staging group, so you need to select anything. OS disk also, if you want to increase the OS disk of your master image you can select here, otherwise you can keep as it is. So in this example I'll keep everything as it is and I'll click on next. So this is very important over here. So here we have an option to called add built-in script or add your own script. So add built-in script, it is nothing but, as I mentioned, Microsoft will do the customization on the behalf of you. So this is the beauty of built-in script. So for example, language pack, if I wanted to install Arabic, so I'll select over here itself. Similarly, if you wanted to do other changes, such as if you wanted to select screen capture protection, you can select over here. Or if you wanted to remove some of the apex packages, so you can select over here as well. For example, let's say I don't want Bing News, I don't want help, so I don't want Microsoft MS Paint, etc. So you can select here and you can do the customization. So similarly for the office packages, for example, let's say if you wanted to install MS Project or MS Visio, so it is by default available over here. Similarly, if you wanted to remove some of the applications, for example, let's say you have selected an image which is having Office 365. Under this, you can select which one you don't want in your image. For example, let's say I don't want MS Word. So you can select this, and once the image preparation is completed, automatically the customization will remove the word from that particular image. So similarly, you have multiple options here. So this is the list as of today. However, this list may grow in future, so this is very helpful. So the most important part over here is one is enable and install FSlogix. So this is very important, so you don't need to create any group policy, etc. See, by default you can provide your shared path and also the VHD size and the versions of which versions. So it will by default show you three versions, so you can select the version you want. Similarly, you can choose configure teams optimization, so you can also select the teams versions over here, and then the WebRTC versions as well as Visual C++ version as well. So this is very important if you are creating a image for your virtual desktop. Similarly, configure session timeout. So here we have disconnected session timeout. For example, let's say if you wanted to disconnect your session after 15 minutes, or if you wanted to set the idle timeout or the active session timeout, log off timeout, etc. All those things you can do it over here. So for the demo purpose, I'm just going to keep language pack as well as remove Apex packages, where I'm going to remove Microsoft Paint, Get Help, and Bing News. So let's click save. So we have one more option here, add your own script. So for example, let's say if you have your own script, maybe you have developed a script to install the applications or any other customization which is limited to your environment, then you can mention over here. So you can mention the script name and then the URI for that script. So it will execute this script on the behalf of you while preparing the image. So this is related to the options whatever you have in the custom image template. So once you select your script or your options, click next and you can select create. So now it will create the image template for your master image. So the template is ready now. So if you refresh, that template will display over here. So as you can see, this is the template which I just created. So image build status, it is showing not yet started. So it means it's just created a template. It did not build the image now. So to create an image, so we need to click on start build. So it will start the image creation process and the customization whatever we created. So once this is completed, you will get your image under the managed image blade. If you selected shared image gallery or compute gallery, so you can find there as well. So now as you can see, the custom image template process completed. So if you go to our image, so if you go to the managed image, so we should see our image over there. So as you can see, so now we have the image. So this image is having all the customization which we choose during the process. So let's go ahead and quickly deploy our Azure Virtual Desktop host with using the latest image which we created through custom image template. So I'm going to the Azure Virtual Desktop blade. So under image, so we will see all image, and then we will select our image which is under my image. So here we need to select the image which we created through custom image template, so which is available under my images. So this is the image we have created through custom image template. So I'll keep all the other options as it is. The deployment has been completed. So if you go to the resource, we should see the virtual machines. So let's go to the session host blade. So as you can see, this is in available state. So let's go ahead and launch the VM, and then we will see the customization. So now I'm inside the VDI session. So if I try to open MS Paint, so I won't be able to see the particular application. Why? Because During the customization, I have mentioned to remove the apex packages related to MS Paint. So even if you go to the run and type MS Paint, and also the application won't launch. Why? Because the package itself is not available and it got removed during the customization. So one more customization what we have done is we have installed the language pack. So if we go to the settings, so let's go to the language setting, and if you choose under the Windows language, so you'll see both English as well as Arabic. This is because we have selected this customization as well during our image creation process or template creation process. So this is the biggest advantage of Azure Virtual Desktop custom image template, where you can mention all the customization which is available in the portal, so that you can get rid of the manual things which we used to do either through registry or group policy or any other method.